Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of General Geekery, where we have actually sort of something planned to talk about tonight. And
Yes.
actually, we've got a couple of things. JD's going to, based on previous episodes with Articulated Chad, he found some of the Rip It at the dollar store. So he is going to try that on the show, the brave man. Uh, it's a lot bigger can than the ones we had in Afghanistan, that's for sure.
So what were they like the little cans, like the that the tomato juice comes in?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And they weren't that fancy of a flavor. I think there was like three flavors. I don't even remember what the flavors were. I bet Chad could tell.
Red, blue,
And yellow.
and yellow.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
just a guess. Just a guess.
Spot
This
on.
one is
100%.
cherry lime, and
That sounds really
I'm
good.
willing to bet it's some sort of unnatural color, but we'll find out.
They'll probably make your poop purple. But don't worry, it's just liver failure.
Yes, that again. Um, I I'll be sure to report back on that. So,
Look forward to that. Plus, I'm going to
um,
open a couple of figure subscription service figures. But what
woo-
we were planning on talking about mostly was GI Joe classified line, because there's been a couple figures that have come out since the last time we talked about the show, and a ton of pre-orders and a couple of reveals. So I mean, there's a lot of stuff. I think the one that everybody's talking about now because they have it in hand is the Lieutenant Falcon. I don't think anybody
don't
is
have
happy.
mine. Um,
I don't think anybody's happy with that head.
I I don't have as much of an issue with it as some of the jokes that people make it clear that clearly illustrate how they actually feel, but that doesn't mean it's good by any stretch of the imagination. But to be fair, it's still better than that little shitty head that the undersized, really head that he had in the 25th anniversary comic two pack. Um,
That was not a good figure.
no,
That did not
and
age well.
no, and Falcon's one of those figures that, while not everybody agree that how they think he should look, it seems like everybody can agree there's things how he shouldn't look, and that's one of
Yeah,
them.
that hit's pretty hideous.
I And yet my biggest problem with that figure is not even the head, it's the boots. I do not mind the boots with the covers over them with the gaiters for Recondo,
Doesn't get out of that.
and the Televiper is going to use the same legs, and I don't mind that. But Falcon needs jungle boots. He just The original figure had jungle boots,
It,
and I feel like he's one of those characters that, let's put it this way: when I was in the army, when I got to AIT, and they gave us the freedom we were allowed to go over to the clothing sales and buy different boots if we wanted to. I bought jungle boots, and that is definitely directly a result of Falcon and Flint and Footloose. Hey, the three Fs, all wearing jungle boots. And
go away.
I feel like Classified Falcon should have had jungle boots the same way my Classified Flint. I painted. I didn't mind the shin cover. I didn't mind the armor. I just couldn't stand the fact that his boots were brown. So I painted them black and I put the jungle sides on them.
Yeah.
So Falcon, when I get it, first thing I'm going to do is give him jungle boots. and
That's
then
my
I'll find.
next question is if you have one, and if not, do you have one coming?
Yes, I have Falcon and CoverGirl pre-ordered from Amazon, so they could show up anytime between tomorrow and June, maybe even because I I was glad because I still don't have like Dusty and Zorana, even though I want Zorana because I've always been a fan. I
Yeah.
just when they were I I never pre-ordered them through Amazon because at the time the release date was like March, and then they all shipped in like November to people because all of a sudden people's pre-orders were coming in left and right, and that all made me very glad that I didn't have anything on pre-order at that point because that would have hurt my bank account more than it already was. Because there's a few people that I know of that had all their pre-orders come in and suddenly they like had negative bank balances and things because it all came out at once. And
Yeah.
um, so, but yeah, I got Falcon and CoverGirl pre-ordered. So eventually, when I have them, I'll do a. I'm not sure where everybody's getting theirs, but I have a feeling the first ones were from overseas because that's usually what happens.
Yeah. Usually.
Other people probably have domestic type hookups, but I don't. I'll get them at some point. I'm not.
I don't. I've never. Well, okay. I've been very rarely been the one that has to have it before everybody else gets it.
I don't. I don't need to.
I'll
I'm
get it
fine.
at some point in time if I want it. I saw that for quite a while the Serpentor was back up in Hasbro Pulse.
I've got one thanks to Ryan Sweeney because the very first time they were available. I wasn't able to get one pre-ordered.
It sold
So
out in like 2 minutes.
oh yeah, but he was able he ordered a second one in case anybody needed it. So he was able to help me out with it. And
Ryan's a good dude.
by the time I was in a position to be able to reimburse him and I got it in the mail. It was just before New Year's and or no, just after New Year's, I think. It had gone up for pre-order a second time on Hasbro Pulse, but I think the estimated ship then was like June. And again, I mean, they lasted a lot longer, but I was glad that I was guaranteed to have one coming, so I didn't have to worry about all
Yeah,
that.
no, their whole pre-order thing still is an annoyance to me. There hasn't been anything that I've like just absolutely been dying to get a hold of that has sold out on the pre-order that I haven't been able to get. But just watching this stuff is irritating enough.
I don't. I know last week there were a bunch of pre-orders listed that went up, like Shipwreck and Copperhead and Snow Job, and that's great. That's all great, but honestly, I can't get excited about pre-orders.
Now I figure we
Um,
can talk about those in a minute here.
yeah, but I don't mind the pre-order process, but when you can't be sure that their estimated dates are even close, and you know you're not going to get charged until they're in, which means it could be sooner. It
Get out of
it
here.
leaves me with a sick feeling in the pit of my stomach.
Yeah,
Um,
just having that hanging over your head.
but
No,
shall I?
yeah, go ahead.
All right, try the rip it.
So Rip It is an energy drink that was available to the military and contractors in Afghanistan and Iraq. So that's where Articulated Chad and I had it. It wasn't very good, but man, it was all you could get. So
I went to Dollar Tree yesterday or the other day, and I found it. and I took a picture of the can while I was in the store, and I texted it to Brian. But I bought it with the intention of whenever we podcast it again, that I would drink it then, because I don't know how long it's been on the shelf at Dollar Tree, but I'm sure it's good for another few years.
Oh, it's
In the
probably
can.
good for
So
another few decades. I mean,
yeah,
it's
so
stuff they
I
gave to the military and the contractors. I mean, that stuff's got to have a shelf life
right. I
of
mean,
at
it's
least
like an
a
MRE.
decade.
That shit is good forever.
Yeah,
So
I don't think
um
I don't think that stuff's going to go bad.
no.
It's like
So
Twinkies and cockroaches. It's going to be able to survive a nuclear blast.
exactly. So I figured that I'd buy it the other day so that whenever we podcasted, we could do that, but not realizing we were going to podcast today. So here we go. Bottoms up. Here goes. You know what? Let her rip. That is not awful.
Really?
I don't know that it tastes like cherry or lime, but it is not awful. It is better than some of the wacky Mountain Dew flavors I've tried. So this is the tribute can. So it's got a silhouette of a soldier and a flag,
Oh,
and that's all. I like the artistry of it. And because of that, I'm actually glad that the stuff inside is not as abysmal as I thought it might be. Last weekend,
I might have to
my
have you grab me one of those. I haven't seen the rip it here. I've looked, but I haven't found it yet.
all right, I can, because I think they had this one and one in a blue can, I think. So I assume that was the blue flavor that was available overseas to you. Or to when you were over there with the nondescript flavors. Yeah, this is not awful. This is actually drinkable. So
Hey,
I'm content. Um, well, last weekend there was a toy show here that my girlfriend and I went to, and on the way there we got Red Bulls, and I tried one that was fig apple flavored.
yeah, the winter
Uh,
flavor.
yeah, and that's really good.
It,
Barb did
weird.
not like it
I
at
did not.
all.
I didn't hate it, but it didn't. I didn't. I was kind of middle of the road on it.
I mean,
It was
I
weird.
I didn't love it. I don't feel the need to buy like a like a case of it, but yeah, Barb didn't like it, but she drinks the regular sugar-free Red Bull that I think tastes like battery acid. So, I mean, there's no accounting to taste in particular, but I don't.
I like the regular Red Bull is like I keep a 20 pack in the fridge.
Yeah, I this this is has a better flavor than that. Than the regular Red Bull, mind you. But um, I mean, I've had energy drinks that are truly atrocious. Um, but
Well, I tell you,
thankfully, this is not one of those.
I've had them all over the world. We used to when I was in Africa, we had something called battery, and it came in a can that looked like a Duracell battery.
Okay, so literally, there was battery acid inside of it
That's
for
literally.
all intents and purposes.
It probably had the same pH inside that can as it did as a battery did. I would not doubt it.
Did you actually partake in drinking?
Oh fuck yeah! That was where was it? That was Sierra Leone
um,
where I had that. And then when I was in Ukraine, um, we could get any number of like Russian products.
I was gonna say, aren't they all vodka or vodka flavored? Um,
Surprisingly enough, not the flavor that seems to be very popular over there is mojito.
with vodka content, I'm sure.
No,
Um,
no, you can get stuff alcohol free. It's not easy, but you can.
I was gonna. um, pretty funny.
I think there was like,
The
oh, I think one of them was actually called Red Dog.
Isn't there a beer called Red Dog in the U.S.?
I don't know, but
Um,
yeah, isn't there a GI Joe figure named Red Dog?
oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
He yeah, he's the only Samoan born member of the Joe team. Um,
Oh, that's right. I was thinking of something else.
yeah, he's one of Slaughter's
Marauder.
renegades.
Yeah, Renegades. Yeah.
Um, but what were was that uh were those drinks available at that same store that you bought me those bootleg action figures at? The cheapest military action figures I've ever got. I
No, I
still
think
have
action
both of
figures. I
them.
think I got those
And
action figures that I don't know what to call it. It's like an open air market. I would call it a bazaar because that's what we called it. That's what they were in Afghanistan, but it was kind of like a bazaar. So I think I got your action figures from a bazaar. Um, and then like every couple of corners, like it's definitely like neighborhood corners. There's a local like a local grocery store, but it's very small. It's not like a grocery store here. So it's like a convenience, what we would call a convenience store. But they have all the stuff that you would have at a grocery store. They'd have fresh fruits and vegetables and meat and just stuff that's at the grocery store that you wouldn't normally find at a convenience store here. And so there was always a convenience store close to where I was staying, and that's where I would do my grocery shopping most of the time. And yeah, just whatever was in stock. Um, I don't. I should have taken pictures of the cans. I probably didn't, but if I did, I'll have to see if I can find some of those pictures.
I just I imagine those places to be a lot like the chain store, Save a Lot here, where you never know quite what they're gonna have when you go in.
Exactly. Yeah.
You just buy the stuff when it's available. I mean, some of the stuff like the cereal, I think that's pretty ever present, but some of that other stuff,
There was definitely
hey,
stuff that was there all the time, but I mean, yeah, I mean, it was technically behind the lines in a war torn country. So I mean, you never know. But
and that
surprisingly,
was
a lot of stuff available for being in a in a war.
and for our newer listeners, that was long before Russia actually invaded the Ukraine. It was already war torn when he was there. Thankfully, he got the fuck out long before all that shit hit the fan.
Yeah,
Um, but
you're
yeah,
right.
you said it was still unsafe anyways. Um,
But let's see here. Oh, yeah. So I was going to talk about what other classified figures got pre-order or the some of the new stuff. Me, I was going to pull this up, but I didn't because why prepare?
Go prep. Yeah.
I don't see the point in that. Um, we could probably Google it here real quick. So yeah, there's a 2-pack of female soldiers coming out called the Valkyries, which
Oh,
for the classified.
interesting.
Yeah, I
I mean, interesting on the name. They're very they're well done figures.
they are, but
They are
I don't want both of the figures, so I'm going to skip it because I don't want both of them.
why? Well, we'll split it. Send me one
All right.
because I honestly I don't need two of them because I'm not going to army build.
Mm,
But um, at this scale, I feel like only a few troopers, and I can pretend there's more of them. Um, so yeah, we can split that back. I don't have any particular feelings one way or the other which one I get. So,
right.
because they're both very well done looking figures, they look exactly like Cobra Soldiers should, complete with the weird balaclavas that the
Oh, there's my
uh
I'll make sure my airbrush off.
Cobra Island uh troopers had. I'm not um they're really super busy looking, just like the Cobra Island and the Soldier one. So they fit right in. Um, um,
I didn't particularly care for the yellow trim. I mean, I know it's a thing, but the one of them has black trim and the other one has yellow.
And I do not mind the yellow. So yeah, dude, we'll go halfsies on that set.
All right.
Um,
We can
um,
let's see what else is coming out. There's so I they saw the so some of the pre-orders that you already mentioned. So there's Copperhead, which I think is which looks really nice, but now everybody's
he,
gonna want a classified scale water moccasin,
well,
which I think would be actually pretty fucking cool. As much as I don't like 1/6 or 1/12 scale stuff, I think a classified scale water moccasin would be pretty fucking sweet, actually.
um, I agree. It's nothing that I would buy, but that's because anything bigger than Trouble Bubble or a Ram Cycle, I'm not going to have at that scale. But
I figure it's probably got to be about like that, probably about
at least,
300.
um, but that Copperhead figure is everything Copperhead should be. They took the original formula, they perfected it, and I think that figure is excellent. Um, I don't really see how they could have done better with Copperhead. Um, and he looks like he should. Um, and although I haven't pre-ordered any of that stuff yet, when I do, again, I can't get excited about. I'm not going to pre-order it as soon as it goes up. But when I do, he is going to be one that I do pre-order. He is an excellent figure. Um, and see, the original Copperhead was one that I wasn't crazy about it when I was a kid, but I didn't actually have a regular Copperhead until later, and I got him as part of a mail away set. I actually had the Python Copperhead first, so I preferred it when I was a kid. But the original Copperhead has grown on me a lot as I've gotten older, and so I actually really prefer the original. And I'm glad that this update looks that good.
It does look
Um,
pretty good. I got to admit that it is a decent looking figure. I'm trying to pull up fucking Hasbro Pulse, but it keeps trying to sell me shit that I don't want. So yeah, the Copperhead does look pretty cool. It looks like we're getting the regular color scheme bazooka. I give a fuck about that. I've never.
I don't care. I have the Tiger Force version. I found it on a whim in Target.
Yeah,
Um,
sending me the picture
and
of that.
even though I had seen the pictures and I was aware that it was a good looking figure, it was one of those things that when I actually saw it in the store, I'm like, that actually looks even better. And so I bought it, and it's great. And this figure is excellent. And I can't stand Bazooka, so it's it's great to get a figure that's this good. The only problem with it is there's no Alpine to go with it. Hello, Hasbro.
That's gotta
Classified
be coming. That's gotta
Alpine.
be,
What?
that has to be coming. That has to
It
be.
has to be. Classified Alpine
Yeah.
would be amazing. If they could do classified Alpine nearly as well, and they would, as well as they've done some of the other releases, that would be the Alpine to end all Alpine figures, I think. So yeah, we need an Alpine. Um, Bazooka needs the smart half of the relationship. Um,
And then a new rock and roll.
I love that figure. I've seen all the
Fucking
complaints
figure.
about it not being all green like version one, but who cares? He's wearing like a modern military tunic where they are two toned, and who cares? That figure looks awesome. I love that rock and roll figure, and that's no bias. Even though rock and roll was my first Joe, when 3 years ago when the classified stuff started, and Brian and I first talked about how Stalker and Rock and Roll, I figure, were pretty much guarantees eventually in the classified line, and I was right. Um, I still never could have anticipated that Rock and Roll would look that badass.
I'm
Um,
impressed. I like it. It's not. I'm not going to pick it up. I don't. I'm ambivalent.
yeah, yeah, you and your Cobra thing.
No,
Um,
I'm there's definitely Joes that I'm certainly happy to see in that line.
oh
However,
yeah,
Torpedo.
Torpedo. Yeah, I was gonna say, let's talk about Torpedo next. Um, that is a great looking diver.
Yeah, they did a good job.
Um,
I kind
the
of wish they had done like the Drager rebreather that the Navy SEALs actually use instead of something a little more geared towards his vintage look, but I can live with it. And I will almost guarantee Gridiron Studios will do a Drager rebreather for him.
well, the you know all the snazzy photography diorama shots that the photographers at Hasbro do. Um, they really there was one of um Torpedo doing like a night ops thing, and he's standing there looking like he's ready to kick the ass out of anything that comes in that crosses his path. Holy shit. That was it's like Torpedo, he's badass, he's a SEAL, that's what he should look like. Version one. I mean, I know you're biased, it was one of your first, but even when I was a kid, I wasn't crazy about it. And then once I got an eel later, it made me really glad 2 years ago, or 2 or 3 years ago, when Black Major did a repaint of the Cobra eel that was in the torpedo color scheme, because I got that to pretend that he's my badass torpedo. Um, the only thing that I wish the classified version had was a head without the hood. So he had an unmasked, unhelmeted head.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's I do believe that they'll put out another torpedo at some point. Maybe he will have more of a land-based suit. And maybe they will, get, but I don't know. I have no idea. But if they could have just given us
I don't see them doing another one. I just don't. I don't know if
um
there's enough fan base for the character, and there really wasn't a decent updated version of him.
no, but
The wetsuit, maybe I think they'll do wetsuit, but I don't see them doing another torpedo
um
because
if
he's never on any of the sub teams. They never I mean, they did repaint it, but
all right, technically Torpedo was supposed to be Tiger Force, but the mold wasn't available, so he was not Tiger Force. I do believe that the torpedo mold at that point was overseas somewhere. But I and even if they don't do another torpedo, it's fine for what it is. Like I said, I wish he had a head without the hood over it, or without the whatever the stocking thing.
balaclava. Well, it's not a
Yeah.
balaclava; it's a dive
No,
hood.
yeah, it's just got the open face.
Yeah, it's just
Because Snow Job looks so great with the options. Um,
that was the next figure I was going to talk about is the like semi deluxe figure of Snow Job.
holy shit, that figure is everything Snow Job needs to be.
I pre-ordered
Um,
one. This was Snow Job was my second or third. I think it was my third Joe because I think Tripwire was my second one. So when I saw that Snow Job, and they did a nice job on that. So and I like the everybody caught the little out of focus Arctic bat in the background on one of the pictures. So everybody's curious to see if that's going to be a thing.
they wouldn't have put it in that photo if it wasn't going to be a thing. I think they were being sly. That was no accident.
No,
But
but
it'll be another bat that I don't buy, and that'll be okay. The coolest shot. There's one of those diorama photos of Snow Job where he's got his ski poles standing up, crossed over, and he's got the sniper and he's using it as like a bipod for the sniper rifle. Holy shit,
Oh,
that is cool.
yeah, the photographer that did the shots for this wave was amazing. I mean, just
I mean,
inspired photos.
I don't. I think most of the classified toy photography has been fairly phenomenal. But these especially, they just the photo of Copperhead with like the jungle pyramid in the background, like straight out of Sunbow, that was nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of nods to the cartoons in the box art.
And I'm all for that. I'm
Absolutely.
kind of hoping we get some. Maybe we'll get a few specific cartoon based figures at some point.
Definitely getting
But
it for Super 7. So
um, but yeah, that snow job, yeah, I would have been shocked if you hadn't pre-ordered it. With all that gear, I don't mind the price. I don't mind it being a deluxe. Um,
it's a little
and I
more.
have no particular feelings on the skis being black instead of white. Who cares?
Yeah,
I mean, not me. I mean, it's fine if other people get hung up on it, but I I think it's fine.
yeah,
Um,
I didn't have a problem with that at all. Well, the next one down the list is Shipwreck there.
he's a great figure for being a shipwreck figure.
That's about all I can say. Is
I
it?
don't.
It is spitting image of V1. It looks very nice. I'm not going to buy it. I love the character. The only thing I've ever liked about Shipwrecked was the characterization in the cartoon and
And
his first appearance in the comic book. Beyond that, I got no love for the figure or the.
I I have. I'm not a shipwreck fan. I've never been a shipwreck fan. At any point in the future, I don't see myself becoming a shipwreck fan. But if you're going to do a shipwreck figure, well, that's the way to do it.
It
He
is.
is a perfect update for shipwreck for a character that I have no particular need to buy. I do like that they even weathered the trousers, so they look like navy dungarees. They look like denim. That was a really nice touch. Um, and having the hair pieces,
That was
so
pretty cool.
he can have the Dixie Cup hat or be hatless. That's super cool. Polly with the peg leg cracks me up. But it is shipwreck, and eh,
And the last one that Hasbro has up for pre-sale, pre-order. Well, they get a couple orders. We'll talk about those here in a second, though. They have up for pre-order also a deluxe figure, Scrap Iron.
um, man,
Wow.
I I I wasn't home or I wasn't available to watch the stream. I wasn't
Watch the stream. I can't stand those guys.
it. Well, oh, I don't mind any of them. It's just I was not having a great day that day because it was the anniversary of something awful, and I just was not. I I wasn't in the headspace for it. I didn't. I wouldn't have had the patience for it. And I had forgotten about it. But Chad sent me a text message with um the the renders of Tunnel Rat and a couple of others, and um I was I was impressed. Um, I don't um Scrap Iron. Well, he when I saw that, I'm like, holy shit! They took a figure. They took a character that never got as much never got as much attention as I feel like he probably could have. like he was overlooked in the Sunbow cartoons. He was there, but you know, he had a couple of significant moments in the comic. I mean, he killed the Softmaster and he blew up that train that took Billy's leg. Um, but Scrap Iron has always been one that people at Hasbro like him because like he got that weird DTC reimagining. He had a few presences in like the comic packs. So somebody at Hasbro has always been a fan, but he never got the fanfare that a lot of the early Cobras got. But man, this Scrap Iron is phenomenal. They
It
got
is
all the details, and they gave him a removable helmet, and the head sculpt looks like Sean Grogan, which I didn't see
until
until Chad pointed it out. And once he did, I'm like, well, I can't unsee that
yeah.
now.
Same.
But that scrapper. That's excellent, and I love that little drone that it comes with.
Oh, that thing is huge. It's a monster. I love it.
That
I haven't pre-ordered it yet because for the same reason that you talked about earlier about having all your pre-orders come in at one time. It's just like there was a bunch of stuff coming out in this wave that I wanted. And I'm like, nah, I gotta space this out, or I'm gonna have $200 worth of figures drop it at one time, and I can't do that.
Yeah, and honestly, they're going to be available. One thing Hasbro's done is the mainline figures. They've done a pretty good job of making sure that they're available. Um, so I mean, they'll be around. Um, they they really just yeah, they're really doing a good job here. And as for those renders, Tunnel Rat looks good.
Hang on,
I
we'll
mean,
get to the
Tunnel Rat
renders.
looks.
There was a couple other pre-orders that I want to talk about before we get to the renders.
Are there other ones? Hang on. What are the other ones? Oh, the
Yes,
Walmart ones.
yeah.
Yeah,
Walmart
yeah.
fucking
Um,
exclusive. You can order, you can get them pre-ordered. Well, no, you can't. I was gonna say you can pre-order them through Hasbro Pulse, but they're sold out of the pre-orders. And that is Big Ben and the Range
Range
Viper.
Viper.
Oh,
You remember a few months ago when I texted you and I said Hasbro just name dropped the Range Viper in their plans for 2023? Man, I know Brian was excited because he loves specialty Vipers. He loves Range Vipers specifically. And I thought, you know, that's going to be cool because the 25th update was pretty good, but
it was
I was not anticipating how great this Range Viper was going to look.
it's everything
It
I was
is
hoping it would be.
it is plain evil looking.
It is. It is a work of art. I've already
It is
pre-ordered two of them.
it is terrifying. They took the color scheme that seemed weird in 1990 and they sculpted it in such a way that the color scheme doesn't even bother me. It just they look like scary ass motherfucking Cobra troopers.
And they are.
Oh,
It's one of those ones that, like the Alley Viper and the Night Viper, you don't realize how badass, and Rock Viper, too, for that matter. You don't realize how badass these, excuse me, how bad that, how badass these guys until how badass these guys are until you read their file cards. And the Range Viper has one of those file cards. It's like it may be a goofy looking figure back then, but holy shit, these guys are fucking badasses.
well, they took the whole ass color scheme of the original and they replicated it here and somehow made it work infinitely better than I would have anticipated they would. Um, they just, man, they're on their game with that Range Viper. It is menacing as all hell.
Yeah,
Um,
I love
and
it.
on the other side of that coin, that Big Ben is sweet. Um,
Nice figure. I did not pre-order that again because I don't want everything dropping at one point in time. I probably will pick that one up at some point in time. Big Ben was one of the last figures I got as a kid, so I am kind of partial to that. Um,
I
but
love Big Ben as a character. I'm happy he got the classified treatment. I'm happy with everything they did on that figure. He looks excellent, but I tried the Walmart website yesterday. That didn't work out. So
The minute I saw somebody post on Facebook that they were up there, I think it was his tank, put a link to the put a link up.
yeah,
And
and
I
and
was
unfortunately,
I was having breakfast with my mother and I couldn't get logged into Walmart, and I was like, we were at IHOP and I was swearing at my phone. She's like, "What is your problem?" I'm like, "I'm trying to pre-order something." She's like, "You can do it after breakfast." And I said, "No, I can't because they won't be there."
well, I I didn't see those links or anything. I didn't have my phone. It was well, I mean, I was working, but I wasn't near my phone, and so I was well over 45 minutes like after it was posted. So I'm like, ah, forget it. And then by the time I mean, I did try to go to the Walmart website after that, but the only thing I was able to successfully click on that did not say sold out was and I didn't pre-order, but there was a clone trooper that I thought about it from Star Wars. I didn't end up because when I saw the price, I'm like, I don't need it that badly. But that I mean, they'll put them up again. I'm pretty sure they will because the retro Lady J, Baroness, Gung Ho, and Destro, they all came into stock for Walmart last year at the same time, and they weren't originally planned that way. So I did fall victim on those figures just once to all the pre-orders coming in at once. And yeah, lesson learned on that. But when they do put them up again, and they will, I'll get them then. Because one thing I can count on is that Walmart will never have them actually in stock.
I don't know, man. I
Well,
have
not the Walmarts here.
no.
They won't.
I've got a Walmart on the way home from work that usually is fairly decent with toys. Doesn't usually get picked over, so I'm hoping that because I've pre-ordered two. I'm gonna keep both of them. I'm gonna open them. Obviously, I I absolutely detest windowless packaging, so there's no point in keeping it in the box anymore. So I'm gonna have two of them to have loose, and I kind of want one to do a flaming moth custom. So I'll need a third one at some point in time. So
I think you need to do one to do a 2000 Rock Viper repaint.
yeah, and that was the other thing. And then I thought about um doing one for the it's not unreleased, the basically the ones that went to Ross that came with the whirlwind.
Oh, yeah, the green jungle range Viper. Um, I don't. I think it was green. I don't know. I didn't have that one. I
Let's say
I do expect at some point, um, Hasbro will do future range Vipers because on one of those lists of item numbers or whatever, there was a redeco of
the
the
alley
Alley Viper listed.
Yeah, and that was one of the things that I was going to ask you what you thought they were going to do with that, because we did a whole show just on the Alley Viper a few months ago and all the different versions therein of,
I
because
think
shortly after my wife.
I think they're gonna do the red and black one. Um, I don't.
I'm going to
I
go yellow and
wish
black.
I wish they would do a blue and black one. Um, but I have a feeling it'll be more Pursuit of Cobra style. If not exactly, I think it'll be more akin to that. Um,
That was my second guess. My first guess is V2, the yellow and black Bumblebee. Uh, my second guess is Pursuit of Cobra color scheme. So we'll
I
see
don't.
how accurate we are on that.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I wish they do a couple of a blue one, there were a lot of Alley Vipers in the early 2000s, a lot of repaints. They get lost in the shuffle. They're overlooked. But
They
like
do.
the Pursuit of Cobra one isn't. That was a popular figure. So I I have to imagine that's the one they'll do, but I'll be curious either way because I do have one of the Alley Vipers. I probably will end up getting another one if they do another color scheme, or whatever the other color
Just from the
scheme
guy who
is.
says I'm not going to buy any of those stupid alley vipers.
Well, I bought one because I found it in the store. I didn't order it. I just happened to find one in the store, and incidentally, the only one that I ever saw in the store.
Yeah,
But
I've seen one in the store once, and I got it then too. I got it after a convention.
yeah, so I don't. So I only bought an alley bike. I wasn't excited enough about it to order it, but I got it because it was at the store. But I don't. I will be curious to see what they do with it. Because I mean, it's a great figure that I just don't have any particular use for. I mean, there is a chance the redeco could be something else. They could come up with a different color scheme.
That's my
Um,
third choice, is that it will be something unique that has not been seen before. So it's funny
and
you could say that, because my first thought was version 2, yellow and black, Pursuit of Cobra, or something new. So it's funny
I
you
don't
say
really
that,
think
because
they're going to do a yellow and black one, because yellow is definitely a color that, aside of the trim on the Python Patrol figures, they haven't done much yellow in the line. Um, and I don't really know if the bee colored Alley Viper is really as popular as people want to think it is. Um,
I'm gonna say they're gonna do one because I did one.
but I mean, it is possible that this new Alley could be something entirely that could be unique for classified, and
Yeah,
that would be interesting.
it would. I
Um,
would. My hope for that, the dog, my wife's home, so the dogs are gonna go crazy. My hope for that would be that they would do one in urban camo if they're gonna do something original.
I would be interested to see what they would do with that.
Yeah,
Um,
that is
how
the
they
one
would.
thing that I would like Hasbro to have done or do in the future in any scale, is do an Alley Viper in true urban colors, urban camouflage colors, urban cam with urban, like a digital urban camo would be awesome.
Yeah. I um yeah, I'll be curious what they're gonna do there. Did did you did you see the name only listings that they did for Mutton Junkyard and Quick Kick and Big Boa?
Yeah, I did see
Of
it.
those three, I'm most curious about Quick Kick. Um,
Most curious about Mutton Junkyard.
I have no particular feelings on Mutton Junkyard. I never really have. Um, they're there. I understand the appeal of them, but I don't.
Another favorite of mine as a kid, and I keep saying this, favorite. I've got a list of favorites, so like there was a bunch of
Everybody has a
Joes.
list of favorites.
Yeah, so there was a list of Joes that, no matter when I played with my Joes, there was always a group of guys that always got played with. And Mutt was in that group. Mutt and Junkyard were in that group. It's
I just
one of the first custom it's the first custom that I did. Hello.
Hi,
Hi.
I don't want to interrupt, I'm just saying hello.
I can edit it out if I need to.
Okay, good. Hi.
Hi Emily.
Hi.
Um, I no. Here's the thing with I'll say this with Mutton Junkyard. I like their part in the comic a lot because they were used a lot, and I like their part in the cartoon because they were used a lot. I've never felt like the figures could really capture that particular mystique.
And
I
I
always
tried to
thought
do
the
that with
figure
my
was a little.
custom. And that was what I used my Kickstarter reward for when they did the dog. As I made that Mutton Junkyard, and that's one of my favorite customs. That came out so well.
Yeah, I have seen a shit ton of customs of Mutton Junkyard and Quick Kick since Classified started. Um, I don't know what Hasbro's gonna do, but I expect they're gonna look good. Um, but
My guess is it'll be like Shipwreck. It'll be very akin to version 1.
well, no, I know that. I think that goes without saying. No, I'm pretty sure they're not gonna update the DEF version. Um, but I don't. I mean, what they actually do with it, I as long as it's less fugly than the original, I'll be on board with it. But I've seen a shit ton of customs of Mutton Junkyard, but because there's a lack of dogs in the scale that are articulated, most of them use a like a Rottweiler from an alien set that's available at Walmart, and it's okay. It doesn't have any articulation. I'll be curious to see how well they do Junkyard because like Timber was really well done. Fiona the crocodile was really well done. Freedom was really well done. I'm 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 more eager to see how Junkyard's gonna look than Mutt and Junkyard. Um, Quick Kick, I'm expecting it to be badass looking. I do believe that because there was a comics based Shang-Chi figure a couple of years ago. Those are hard to get on the secondary market for a decent price because I think everybody was buying them so they could make classified Quick Kick customs. I have a feeling Shang-Chi is going to be more available this time next year. Um, because Hasbro's doing their own Quick Kick. I'll be curious what it looks like. I'm pretty sure it'll be version 1, but if they can put some sort of nod towards the Rise of Cobra Toys R Us exclusive version that wore the black and yellow with the karate shirt, that would be pretty badass. I don't know that they will, but I'm kind of hoping that they do because that was one sweet version of Quick Kick.
I don't see that happening.
No, neither do I, but it would be interesting. And Big Boa, I'm sure he's going to look badass. Crocmaster did, but Big Boa is not one that I've ever had any. It's fine, but
yeah, I don't hate it, but I've never had any love for it. I didn't have it as a kid. I've never had a desire to make a custom.
I have
version of it.
I have the figure subscription service version.
I wouldn't
it is
having that figure, the figure subscription service figure, but not enough to pay what they want for it.
I mean, well, I got it when it was part of that wave because I subscribed to that one series, but I'm glad he's getting the classified treatment, but honestly, after Crocmaster was so well done, I was kind of hoping to see Raptor because I'd be curious what they're going to do with Raptor because I think he'd be pretty cool.
I think that one's in the pipeline. I'm just going to take a guess. Shot in the dark. It's funny you should say that. I was thinking of the 3 weird ones: Big Boa, Raptor, and Crocmaster.
I think Raptor might happen eventually. And I've seen some customs where he's very techno bleeding edge type, with the turbine powered wings and shit, kind of like Vulture in the MCU. That is not what I want. If and when they do Raptor in the classified line, I want version 1, feathers, cape, headdress, all the way. I want to see how well they would do with it because Crocmaster
one that the techno.
What?
I like the techno idea myself.
Yeah, I don't. That is exactly the opposite of what I want them to do.
We will agree to disagree then.
What?
We will agree to disagree then.
Oh yeah, totally. Crocmaster was one that I never had any particular feelings on, but boy, I really love the classified version. And it's only because that was so well done that it inspired me to want a Raptor, because otherwise I've never had any desire to get a new Raptor update. And the one the club did sucked.
I figure if I get a Crocmaster, I'll have to justify it to the wife, and then she'll see the little crocodile and she'll say, "Ooh, that is so cute," and then I'll never see it again.
Well, Blake really likes the Fiona figure, so I wanted that set because of Crocmaster. I know obviously Fiona's an important part of the character.
Yes.
But the toy, I was less thrilled with buying a deluxe set because half of it was a crocodile. But Blake loved it. So I'm like, all right, totally justified.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, when Hasbro's on their game, boy, they're really on their game. And with most of the classified stuff, boy, they're really on their game. So I'm very curious about this. On the other hand, there's so many other name-only reveals that we're still waiting to see. I'm shocked we haven't seen Hawk yet, and I'm shocked we haven't seen either of the two Dreadnoughts that they've announced.
Oh no,
Ripper and Buzzer.
I'm thinking of Duke, because I'm like, didn't Hawk come with the Tiger Force?
No, that's Duke. Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely Tiger Force Duke. Yeah. And I'm very happy with it because Tiger Force Duke is my favorite color scheme for Duke. Has nothing to do with the Tiger Force stuff at all.
Yeah. No. I would have wholeheartedly disagreed with that at one point in time until I sat down and looked at it. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? That's actually, as much as I detest Tiger Force, I mean, I love the Tiger Force Outback. I think that is one of the coolest figures ever.
It is.
But I don't actually hate the Tiger Force Duke. I think it's a color scheme.
I pre-ordered it when it was available on Target, and I got it.
I think I actually did a custom of that. You may actually have that figure.
I do not remember you doing a Tiger Force Duke. And if you did, I do not have one.
But you have to look that up, because I could have sworn that I did one. Maybe I'm thinking it was.
You did a regular Duke, but I don't think you ever did a Tiger Force Duke. And the Tiger Force Duke, for me, when I was a kid, the only hang up I had with it was the brown hair. I was 8 years old. I made my mother repaint his hair yellow because my brain just could not handle Duke as a brunette. And I was happy with it then. And I've always been happy. Like, I prefer Tiger Force Duke other than the blonde hair or the lack of blonde hair. I prefer it over version 1. I prefer it over all the updates. I love the color scheme. I don't know what it is about it, but that particular puke green shirt with the weird burnt sienna tiger stripe pants and the gray boots just works for me. And
that's gonna bother
me. I'm glad they classified it. But yeah, I want to see Hawk, and there's no way it's not going to be based on version 2. And I'm pretty sure they're purposely making us wait to see it, but damn, I wish they'd hurry up.
See, I don't know. I think they're going to do a version 1 with the jump jetpack, but that's just my guess.
Well, yeah, but the Steel Brigade guys are coming with the jump jetpack. The Steel Brigade guy and gal, they're coming with the jump jetpack, and I have a feeling
for them to repaint it and stick it with Duke.
If they do, I think it'll be a newer Duke, but maybe, and it'll be an exclusive. But I am actually kind of shocked. One of the things we have not seen with all of these reveals and announcements is I'm very surprised we have not seen another Duke or Scarlet on these lists. I this is me not saying that they should. I don't want them to update them. I like the first classified Scarlet. She's still my favorite Scarlet version that Hasbro's ever made at any scale. That is still my favorite Scarlet figure. I'm just shocked
never got made.
What?
My favorite Scarlet never got made.
Well, yeah, you mean the City Strike one. But
figure.
I don't think Scarlet needs to be updated, but a lot of collectors do. And I'm just kind of surprised that Hasbro just hasn't announced another one yet. But well, now that I put that out in the universe, it's definitely going to happen.
But what would they do? I mean,
I have no idea, but they'd come up with something. They one of the things that they could do is make a new Cobra Commander that doesn't suck balls.
Fucking Cobra Commander. Unless they did a battle armor Cobra Commander, I don't want to see another fucking Cobra Commander.
Well, neither do I. But if they're gonna do another one, anything's better than the shitty classified version they gave us, and I mean all three color schemes. I hate that sculpt. I hate that sculpt.
You know, if they do another one, it's going to be a hooded Cobra Commander, and I like that even less than the original.
You know what? Me personally, I have the Cobra leader that I needed. So,
yeah,
that's it. This is all I needed was this guy right here. So, personally, I'd be just fine with Hasbro never making another Cobra Commander again. But
you know they're going to do a hooded.
Oh wait, never mind. Wait, hang on. Never mind. They're giving us a traditional one with the his tank. Never mind. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's all version 1 and boring as all hell. So, and it won't matter because I'm not gonna have that one anyways. But what were
the
they found
talk about the review the renders because we touched on that, but I wanted to go back to the pre-orders.
Yeah, because I can't remember other than Tunnel Rat. Oh, Shadow Tracker.
Oh yeah, I was not impressed with the.
Oh, I was. Oh, I'm very happy with that Shadow Tracker.
I did not. I think the Pursuit of Cobra figure is still far superior to whatever that is that they're putting out. I'm not impressed at all. I was like, Pursuit of Cobra figure in the classified line. I might be on for that, but I saw the render and I'm like, no. Hot garbage.
No. I think it's a little different than the Pursuit of Cobra version, but not where, I mean, it's got the color scheme and it's got the vest and everything. And no, I love it. I think it's great. I will absolutely be pre-ordering that one when it comes out. I'm happy that Shadow Tracker is getting made. I love it.
Don't get me wrong. I think it's cool that it's being made. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Fair enough. I didn't know what to expect out of it, and I was pretty happy with it. Tunnel Rat is exactly what I expected.
Yeah, that looks pretty decent.
But I was gonna say, but it's also exactly what it needs to be.
I like the fact that they gave him the panorama forminocular night vision goggles like I gave mine.
I like the fact they gave him the pouches on his thighs, like the Renegades Tunnel Rat. I like that they took that design cue. And yeah, he looks like Tunnel Rat should look. It's
Great.
good. I'm curious what the figure will actually look like, but he's got a lot of gear, and the machine gun he comes with is cool. And I like that he's got the two flashlights, just like the original. These
Absolutely.
will be easier to keep track of than the originals were.
Yeah.
Which other figures were in the renders? I can't remember.
It seems like there was one other render, and I can't remember what it was.
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, look that up real quick. While you're doing that, the other kind of Joe thing that's being announced at this point in time is the license by Hyatt Toys, who has the license for Aliens, Predator, and some of the DC stuff. The DC figures are hot garbage, to say the least. Some of the most fragile figures I've ever had. Because I bought the Batman and it broke coming out of the box. I bought the Harlequin and I didn't even open that. I've bought quite a few of the Predator figures and been happy with them, and just have no use for Aliens figures. I bought the Hot Toys snap kits for the Aliens, and every one of those disintegrated but one. So I just like I'm done with the Alien property. But the Predators are, I won't say they're fragile, but they're not, they don't feel real sturdy. So I'm curious to see what the G.I. Joe ones are going to be like. However, at this point in time, these particular figures are not licensed to be sold in America. So G.I. Joe, the real American hero, that doesn't get sold in America as of yet. I think that they'll find a way to get that licensed here. I don't know how. If not, eBay will definitely be an option. However, I think one of the things that makes me ecstatic about this line is the price point. It's a $20 figure, which is about what you would expect to pay for a decent action figure nowadays. And the Hyatt Toys, they've announced a Storm Shadow, a Snake Eyes, and a Cobra Commander. And all three of them look really nice. And they're in the 4-inch scale. And not O-ring. So those are like the big questions: is what scale are they in? Are they O-ring? No, they're not O-ring. They're modern-ish sculpt, and they are 4-inch scale.
Facebook Messenger, get out of here. I'm trying to scroll through Facebook looking for the renders, and the stupid Messenger thing keeps coming up because of the raid chat.
I've got that muted on mine, so I don't have to deal with it.
Oh, Lowlight and Firefly.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yes, Lowlight. I think that looks about what I expected. I don't hate it.
It's fine. It's exactly what I expected it to be. And I'm as lukewarm on it as I am on version 1.
Yeah, so, it's really hard to top that Pursuit of Cobra figure that they did.
But this has a lot of the same design elements as that.
Yep.
So clearly, this is like a classified update of that. Because it's not it. It's as much of an update to version 1 as the Pursuit of Cobra one was. But it's great. I mean, it looks great, but
I'll be getting it for sure. That was one figure that I wanted so badly as a kid and never saw in the store. I ended up having to trade for it, and it wasn't complete. I think I've had a complete one once. My current one is still missing his bipod.
I very specifically remember finding Lowlight at a store. Yeah. From a local store here called Gold Circle, which has not existed in probably 30 years. But I I always wanted a low light figure that was as cool as he was characterized on the cartoon. And we finally got that with the Pursuit of Cobra version. But
that thing was a work of art. Pursuit of Cobra.
Um,
I still think Pursuit of Cobra is the best line since The Real American Hero.
well, I agree with that. But this is a perfectly acceptable update of the Pursuit of Cobra low light, including the case for his sniper rifle. But and Firefly is
Firefly.
an amazing update that's faithful to version 1, and I will get it just like I finally got the Target version. And I will buy every other Firefly figure they ever put out.
Same.
But he's a great faithful update. I think that's why I forgot about it, because
Yeah, I
it's
couldn't remember.
it's such a great update to the original, but I don't, until we actually see it, like the pictures, like I can't wait to see what the Hasbro photographer is going to do with that figure. But there are very few times with this classified line that I can't say Hasbro hasn't really knocked it out of the park. And I mean, with the craftsmanship, if not but I wish that they would just, what's the word I'm looking for? I feel like it's always being dragged out with the reveals and the renders. Oh, just show us the figures. I mean, I get it. I know what they're doing. I mean, it's marketing, but
Yeah, absolutely.
I wish they'd hurry up and show us what Hawk looks like and Grunt, and but I'm pretty happy with what they've shown so far. So are there any classified figures that you're surprised have not been announced by now? I got a couple.
Oh boy, that's a really tough question. I'm gonna say no, because they've just been all over the board from OG to Pursuit of Cobra. I mean, man, they've hit just like shotgunned it, you know? I mean, they've done specialty Vipers, they've done 5 different versions of Roadblock. It just yeah, is there
I am
stuff that I would
shocked.
like to see being made? Yes. Stuff that I'm surprised they haven't made, not really, because I think stuff that they haven't made just isn't in the pipeline yet, but will be sooner or later.
I think a lot of the stuff probably is, but I am flabbergasted that Jinx has not been announced. I When they started announcing all the 2020, well, like the name only, I thought for sure Jinx was going to come up. I'm surprised I'm surprised there's no Jinx, and I'm really surprised that we don't have. Oh wait, no, hang on.
I mean, we pretty much at this point have all of the Cobra High Command. You know, so I mean, like, I can't think of any glaringly obvious gaps in like major Cobra characters. And you know, just so much Joe stuff to pull from that it's like, yeah, it just they can't do it all at one time.
No, they can't. But yeah, I'm shocked about Jinx. I'm really shocked there hasn't even been a rumble of an Iron Grenadier, because we got Iron Grenadiers almost immediately in the Spy Troops line. In fact, I think the first wave of Spy Troops figures did have an Iron Grenadier. And I'm pretty sure that they're destined for the classified line.
Twice, I think. There's two different versions of it.
Yeah, there were 3 different. Yeah, there was the Iron Grenadier 2 or 3 repaints of it.
I think, yeah,
But I'm expecting an Iron Grenadier Trooper. I don't know that they'll do Voltar, and I'm pretty sure they won't do Ferret or Wild Boar. They don't need to, but
I could see them doing so here's my theory. I could see them doing, not a theory. This is what I could see them do. I could see them doing a Voltar and an Iron Grenadier 2-pack for like a exclusive or a convention set.
yeah, and they're bound to put out an Iron Grenadier by itself. I'm really shocked that Jinx and the Iron Grenadier have not emerged yet. I mean, I have no doubt that they're in the pipeline or in the plans. They both just seemed to be screaming for like classified level detail. And honestly, I really, Mutt and Junkyard, I expected them too. And then they finally did get announced.
Yeah.
But I expected back when there was a rumor that there was going to be another figure that was going to come with a pet. I kind of figured it'd be Mutt and Junkyard. And then I was surprised when they actually specified, no, it's Scrap Iron, and he's going to have a pet like a drone thing. So
if I'm going to throw one out there and you won't like it, I'm going to say Blowtorch. It's very iconic figure, very eye-catching. It was definitely ahead of its time for the neon of the 90s. But I think it was one of the first, like, sorry, the Izzy knows to come to the window to look in when they're out in the backyard.
Yeah.
So she'll come and stare at me through the window. It's iconic. So I'm kind of surprised there hasn't been a Blowtorch yet.
He's another one that I figured they probably got in the pipeline, or they've at least discussed it. I have to imagine they have. And they're probably just waiting on it. Maybe, I mean, it could be like a 2024, 2025 release, but I do think Blowtorch will happen. There's a few figures I'd like to see that I don't think will happen, but I think it'd be awesome if they did Fast Draw and Blowtorch, and then we could have the guy who makes the explosions, the guy who makes the fire or the extra fire, and then we'd have the guy who puts the fire out. Like Barbecue follows them around and with the fire extinguisher.
Yeah,
I don't think they're going to give us a classified Fast Draw. I don't think they will.
No,
I wish
could
they
see them doing a deluxe set like the Snow Job. Or the
no, I mean,
just redoing his backpack in some fashion, making him like super, like a EOD suit.
Yeah, I don't.
Bigger, bulkier figure. I think that would, if I was on the marketing team, if I was on the design team, that's what I'd do. I'd be like, okay, it needs to be a deluxe figure. Middle. They've got their standard figures, and then they've got their deluxe figures like Crocmaster. Sorry, my brain just went Crocmaster, and then they've got their like middle of the road deluxe figures like we're seeing with Snow Job. They're a slightly higher price point, but more gear and more detail. If I was on the marketing team, that's what I do. I'd be like middle of the road deluxe box set. So bigger, bulkier buck. Redesign the backpack. That's what I would do for Fast Draw.
I don't know that Fast Draw's even a realistic possibility. But if you want to update some of those characters, make them look badass, he is the top of my wish list. I'd like to see him. I'd like to see Hardball, and I'd really like to see Pathfinder.
You are definitely the advocate for the Joes, whereas I am the advocate for Cobra.
But I will say, on the Cobra side, there's no way they're not going to do a Night Viper eventually. Maybe not right away. It couldn't. I have to imagine he's at least been talked about, and they put him in the pipeline, even if they're not far enough along with the plans to make a name-only announcement.
Yeah.
The Range Viper is so good. The Alley Viper was so good. I'm pretty sure there's no way that the Night Viper won't happen.
I've got a couple predictions just based on what's coming out. And they're gonna sound kind of weird because they're vehicle drivers. But we've got the HISS tank coming from HasLab, so we've got a HISS driver coming. And we just saw Copperhead. So,
Wild Weasel?
No, but a good thought. This one would just be a simple repaint. Another one that you don't like, Stinger driver. Simple, I know, but simple repaint. It's Hasbro. It's Hasbro. Tell me that they're not going to do a simple repaint's not above Hasbro.
Oh no, totally, it is.
That's low hanging fruit for them.
In fact, now that you say that, he should be up there with Jinx and the Iron Grenadier as something they've already announced.
Exactly. Like, I don't care if you like it or hate it. I'm just saying that's one I see happening.
Like I said, I'm kind of shocked that hasn't come up yet.
The other one that I am going to predict is AVAC.
I think AVAC is on a list of characters like Fast Draw that's just about as likely. Maybe they'll do one, but
I would have said the same thing about Copperhead 6 months ago. I would have said that about any of the vehicle drivers, that you can't have some of these vehicle drivers without their vehicle, but that Copperhead looks fantastic, and I think people will buy the fuck out of that, and I think that people will buy the fuck out of an AVAC if it came out, Firebat or not.
As long as he's got a much less stupid helmet than the I don't like helmet. My hatred of it actually came full circle with the 25th version when I looked at that and I said there is no way a human head is in there. I don't even mean just the size. The bullet head thing, please. If they're gonna do AVAC,
that's still a better helmet than what came on the Strato Viper. I mean, that faceplate is like you couldn't get a head in that Strato Viper helmet. And that may be, that would be another one that I would throw out there as a Strato Viper.
I would like to see Wild Weasel.
Agreed. That's honestly, and he's like, to me, second tier Cobra High Command.